Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a question that has flooded my DMs so much, and it is the nitty-gritty of how to buy a house in Canada. So if you're interested, definitely keep on watching. First things first is your status in Canada. I can only speak for the most part if you're a permanent resident or you're a Canadian citizen. Now let's talk about the lenders. I feel like there is so many confusions about this, especially in the new immigrant community. If you're looking to buy a house in Canada, there are different types of lenders, and generally they call them the A, the B, or the private lender. What really distinguishes these three lenders is the interest rate. Obviously there are also like other things, but the major distinguishing factor is the interest rate, which means that for a lender, for instance, they have the lowest interest rate, but what you need to also qualify might be what is not, applicable to a lot of people, and that's why people will go for the B lender and the private lenders. Now, to also like specify what these lenders are, A lenders are usually like big banks, people who like every day-to-day banks. In Canada, there are like 5 big banks, and then there are other banks as well, but that's who A lenders are. You just work there. You can literally just go to your bank. I bank here, I want a mortgage, can you help me? Go through my account, get all my details, tell me what I need, this is what I have to put down, can you help me? And voila, you can literally close your deal. A lenders, easy peasy for the most part, even though sometimes they can ask for like information upon information. I think it also gets tricky when you have a broker, a mortgage broker, who is your point of contact to your bank. But what I would advise from my experience is, if you have everything you need, if you qualify, if you have a job, and you have your down deposit, you honestly don't have to go through paying a mortgage broker. I know that this is some people's jobs, but I mean, this is just a way that you can cut from the cost of your closing, except you have so much money to throw around, then do you boo boo. But anyway, so that's A lenders, just the banks. B lenders are like investment houses and mortgage houses, and a lot of them even like can be banks, but they just have like a lesser restriction on documentation and like the things you need and all of that. Although you might need to put down a higher percentage, but they are more flexible in terms of requirements. Then there is the private lender, who are just like, they really don't care what you have. You want my money? Just pay me the interest rate. Like, in layman's terms, obviously they will get 1 or 2 documents from you, but those guys are like less restrictive. They just give you money as long as you can afford them. And so if you see that maybe someone is running into a kind of hiccup with the major lender, say A or B, towards their closing time, they will literally close at all costs. With the private lender, literally close at all costs, and it's more expensive, but they will usually go with the private lender, right? Now that's that. Now, as it applies to us immigrants, like I said earlier, A lenders are the cheapest options, obviously. Even though right now, let me say here that the interest rate across board is like very high, but imagine A lenders being very high. That means B lenders are now like very, very high, and then private lenders are like high. Across board it is very high right now. But anyway, I digress. So if you're a new immigrant, you have a job, your husband has a job, or if you want to buy as a single person, you have a job, you can literally go to an A lender, enter your bank like I said, and say, you know what, I want to buy a house, this is the amount, how much can you give me? The general rule here too is that a lender, whether it is A, B, or private, can give you up to the tune of times 5 or 6 of your household income, or your personal income if you're buying as a single person. So what that means, as an example, is if I earn 100,000 and my husband earns 100,000, our household income is 200,000. If we are paid employees, we have employment, like we have jobs, and that's our income. They do work with your income before taxes are taken out of it, so that makes it even better. We can go to the bank and say we earn 200,000 as a family. Now, even sometimes I've heard of people who will even add what the government pays them for the kids. Like, if you have kids, you get government subsidies. I mean, if you're earning 100k, you might or might not be getting government subsidy. I think you will. It just won't be as high as like what somebody earning 40k will get. But anyway, I've heard of situations where people even add their child's government deposits to increase their household income, because again, that's like something that's sure that comes into your account every month anyway. But using the example of 100k per person, that means we have 200,000 as a family. we can go to the bank and literally say we want to buy a house of 1 million. Now, even better is if we already have 200,000 as our down deposit. That means we can even say we want a house of 1.2, because we would have paid 200,000 in cash, and the bank is still able to give us times 5 of our household income, which will now be 1 million. In some cases, like I said, they do times 6, but for the most part it's like times 5, right? So that's option A. Very easy. The lower you earn, the lower you can buy, which makes sense, right? Because they're considering all other expenses. They want you to be able to pay them back month on month. Nobody wants you to default on your mortgage, and if you do, they can even foreclose your house, so let that not be the case. Anyway, so that's it on a lender. Pretty easy, honestly, for people who I have a job, my husband has a job, let's just go. Now, the requirement is even better in terms of down deposit, because you're only required to pay 5% down deposit up to 500,000, and then any difference between, like, say your house is 700,000, you will pay 5% of 500,000 plus 10% of 200. The difference from 500,000 to the amount of your house, you pay 10% on that. But up to 500,000, you're required to just pay 5%. So if you want to buy a home of 500,000 naira, how much is that? Honestly, as low as 25,000 is all you need for your down deposit, and you can be a homeowner. Now, let's not forget closing costs though. Let's not forget land transfer tax. Let's not forget if your house doesn't come with appliances. I'm shading myself. But like, what you need to qualify for a mortgage is what I'm talking about. And that's just like pretty easy, like I said. Hold on, let me say that if you have more to put down with an A lender, feel free. They won't stop you. Now, even with A lenders, let's say you just got into town today or tomorrow, and you don't have a job yet, you haven't secured a job, but your status is right. They can also give you a loan to buy a house if you drop 35%. That is common in the new immigrant space as well. You can drop up to 35%, and an A lender will give you a reasonable rate for your balance, just because you're putting in that huge chunk of money. Now, are you saying that if I'm self-employed, the bank cannot give me money, A lenders cannot give me money? They definitely can. However, you need to have filed up to 2 years of your business taxes in Canada. If you don't have that, then according to policy, they are not able to help, which is something else that might help somebody. If you want to be self-employed in Canada, probably just register your company immediately you get here, so that that time starts counting. You have inflow in your account, you file your taxes year 1, year 2, so it's easier if you want to. Which takes me now to the second set of lenders, which is B lenders. Now, like I said, these are investment houses, mortgage houses, and they are just less restrictive. In fact, a lot of them are affiliated with this A lender banks, but just as a matter of policy, what they require from you, is not as rigid in terms of like documentation, or you need to have a job or whatever, like the A lenders. Now, with the B lender, if you're self-employed, you need to put 20% down. Like, let's not even go into what the interest rate is or whatever. Just bring your 20% first. And B lenders go more on cash flow. They just look at your account and see is cash coming in. They get your invoices. And I remember, I think that was even something that encouraged me to film this video, because I remember being so unaware of what it was when I wanted to go into this as a self-employed. I messaged a lot of YouTubers in my space in Canada, and nobody, like not a single person, answered me. I did see a YouTube video of someone who bought a house and shared that story, and this is why it's good to share your story. Honestly, you never know who is benefiting from it. She did share a story, but she went the 35% route, because she's also a full-time YouTuber and they're just moved into Canada in like 2 years. But she talked about how they went the 35% route. But anyway, I digress. So with them, they just need your cash flow to be solid, and they know that okay, money is coming in. They do still require like good documentation from you. I think another place where B lenders can come in will be if you want to buy a house, you have 20%. So with B lenders, most times you have to have 20%. Now, if it's a second property, or for a lot of people, if they are in between jobs, right? So maybe you had a job before and then now you don't, or maybe you're on maternity leave. So like, if there is anything that is even a tad bit complicated in your story, that doesn't like match up to the standard of the A lenders, B lenders will come in. The consequence obviously is that the rates are higher, way higher, and most times you will need a mortgage broker to go to them for you, unlike A lenders that you can just walk into the bank. If there any complication around your story, if it's not adding up to the policy of the A lender, then B lender is what you want to go for. Obviously they are more expensive, about 2 or 3 more percent expensive, and that's a lot of money when you convert it on a month-on-month basis. One thing is A lenders amortize for 25 years, B lenders amortize for 30 years. So even though their rate is higher, they give you a longer time to repay. So month on month too, it might not be like too bad for you. So that's that. Now last of it is the private lenders. Those guys have no mercy, like no mercy. As long as you have documents, don't get me wrong, you still need to have your documents and everything, and for a lot of them to is still 20%, you have to still drop 20%. They can only fund up to 80% of the value of your house, the appraised value of your house. But even on the appraisal front, right, private lenders are more flexible with their appraisal, market appraisal value. Private lenders right now is entering double digits interest rates, and that is ridiculous on your monthly repayment, like absolutely ridiculous. A lenders right now is like in the 5%, add 2 or 3 on top of that, that's what B lenders are giving, and private lenders are entering like 10. I heard someone say private lender gave them 14%. I'm just like, chile. So that's why right now too is like, even though prices of houses have come down, they're cheap, you're going to get stuck paying high on interest rates. So obviously when you buy a house, it's beyond the down deposit, you still now have to pay month on month for the money you have borrowed, right? Good thing is you're paying it like onto your name, you're paying it to set off your own mortgage, your own debt, compared to if you're living in a rented apartment and you have no down deposit there. It's not you're paying someone else's mortgage, and in some cases the person has even paid off their mortgage and they are just living la vida loca off your money, which is good. It's just times and seasons, so yeah, that's it. I think I have covered everything I have to say about this, and I hope that it is really helpful. If you do have any questions, then feel free to put in the comments, and I'll try to get to it. But thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more of this, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. Press the red button that says subscribe, and then there is a bell right beside it that alerts you whenever I post any video. We keep it wholesome, real around here. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.
Whenever your heart is broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find the light in your soul.